One of the things that was discussed on the panel that you were on was basically about education and how that's the most important thing going on in 3D right now. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, on the very basic level, we educate all our artists here before they go onto a 3D show, and that includes everything from here's the buttons in the software to the 3D photography class. You know, we send them out with the camera around campus, and you can probably see it's a great 3D campus.
Oh, absolutely.
And we show their still images, you know, in the theater. It's pretty obvious what's good and what's bad when we project them on a 40-foot screen. So eye strain education comes pretty early, and but then all the way up to really like Jeffrey Katzenberg was at the Directors Guild and gave an open invite for outside directors to come in and see what we're doing and see the kinds of tools we're developing. And we probably did 100 sessions over the last couple of years of people coming in and touring them around and showing them all the things we think is important. And the number one thing that we're always working on ourselves is education through just being involved in the work. It sounds stupid, but there's no magic formula. The way it works is you put 3D up on the screen and you look at it and you decide if it's good or not. You know, but you can't do that if you're making your movie in 2D and then having 3D added after the fact. And so the 3D is really informing the directors and the cinematographers and everyone, you know, at the studio what they like and what they don't like by literally seeing it every day and growing to love it or hate it, depending on which way the shots are going. We try to do more of the ones we love and less of the ones that we hate.
Exactly. And then there's always the room for experimentation to try and go a little step further.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually now the next level that we need to get to, because we've proven that the projection technology is fantastic. That's really cleared the hurdle of the last 100 years of trying. Monsters vs. Aliens proves the point that you can really create a very controlled, dialed-in, immersive 3D experience. And then other movies that I always refer to, YouTube 3D, being quite experimental in their spatial style of the movie, which got me very excited. And I think the next stage is now to start thinking creatively, what do we want to do 3D above and beyond just make it work fantastically well? I think, you know, we're there. There's no excuse to make a technically bad 3D movie at this point. So the question is, creatively, what's the more interesting thing we're going to try? And maybe fantasy sequences are the first starting point to make sense.
There's a lot of talk about the future of 3D. Where do you see it going?
I'm really just thinking it's a natural evolution from here. I mean, as someone who's lived with 3D images for the last 18, 19 years, it doesn't even really come up as a question. It's just like, well, that's just better.
Right. Why wouldn't you do it Why wouldn't you do it any other way?
Yeah, the old joke is like, well, no, that definitely doesn't look as good as it is, you know? So I think we are going to see, I mean, obviously TV to show the kinds of products that we're making now in sports, and those things we've already seen. There's a 3D TV in my room right now that I use every day. Fuji's just released its consumer digital stereo camera, and we haven't seen a consumer camera like that really since, you know, the Realist or something in the 50s. There's been a few along the way, but that's exciting. And I can well imagine in a couple of years the home video, built stereo camera plugged straight into your stereo TV. The kid's birthday party, jumping in the pool, it's all shot in stereo, and from there, you know, it's going to just bleed out into all kinds of places.
So have you started working on holograms?
Holograms? Well, actually, my first introduction was a hologram, you know, at the Royal College of Art. But holograms are pretty amazing things. If we can get those guys to move, and you know, then we're talking about true auto stereo experience, volumetric filmmaking, right? At some point, you know, the holodeck is in the future, you know, maybe.
There you go. Phil, thank you so much for talking with us today.
See you, Al.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Okay.